All right, Pete Hegseth is a complete nut, a Christian nationalist, a homicidal, genocidal nut job that weaponizes the Bible and Christianity to justify committing war crimes and lying to the American public about it. Play the clip.
Which I think is meant to reflect Ezekiel 25:17. So the prayer is Caesar 25:17, and it reads, and pray with me, please. The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the...
Okay, I've heard enough. I've heard enough. The Secretary of Defense going all megachurch pastor, all righteous gemstones, saying, everybody pray with me now. And this comes on the foothills pumps of him near verbatim quoting Quentin Tarantino's 1994 film Pulp Fiction. He got a fake Bible verse from the movie Pulp Fiction and quoted that. And so this is just insane. This is the guy and the government that says, "Oh my gosh, Iran, they're crazy religious fanatics." And I just played for you the video right here. Pray with me, everybody.
He's disgusting. Here's the thing. He's a white supremacist. He's not smart. He is an untreated alcoholic by all accounts coming from the Pentagon. He is massively disrespected. The only reason he is in that job, in my opinion, is because if Trump says you need to use the U.S. military to turn against American citizens, to stop voting, protest, whatever it might be, he would say, yes, sir, yes, sir. He is a fake. He is the worst of the worst. He's not even smart. It drives me crazy when he gets out there. I mean, he's a fucking nutball.
He's a religious fanatic. It's just awful. And in a really bizarre turn of events, this atheist, me, Jennifer Welch, I really love Pope Leo. This guy is the walking, talking embodiment of, Riley Gaines was like, we want to draw people to Christ. I'm like, bitch, please, you make me want to run as fast as I can away from that. Pope Leo, in a not so thinly veiled post, continues to go right after the diabolical, homicidal, genocidal war crimes of the United States government. Pop this up. Woe to those who manipulate religion in the very name of God for their own military, economic, and political gain, dragging that which is sacred into darkness and filth. I mean, my God. I mean, and we know exactly who he's talking about. He's talking about MAGA Christians. And I have said now for 2 years on this podcast, we have to call out these MAGA Christians. They are dangerous. They are in a death cult. They are radical. They oppose anything about freedom, universal human rights. They're fine with dismantling everything good about this country, all for the sake of owning the libs. And to juxtapose Pope Leo's message here we have the right-wing evangelical leader, Franklin Graham, in a very long, diluted post, but I'm going to read one paragraph. He says, I do not believe President Trump would knowingly depict himself as Jesus Christ. That would certainly be inappropriate. I'm thankful the president has made it very clear that this was not at all what he thought the AI-generated image was representing. He thought it was a doctor helping someone. And when he learned of the concerns, he immediately removed the post. There has never been a more staggering display of stupidity and the willful ability to shut down your part of the brain that critically thinks than white evangelical MAGA Christians, led here by Franklin Graham, who is a dipshit beyond all comprehension, who does exactly what Pope Leo here was talking about and speaking out against, weaponizing your religion to commit war crimes or to game the system economically is the grossest, the worst, the most ultimate sin. This atheist, I am Team Leo, Franklin Graham, and the MAGA Christians. Hit the bricks, you deplorable trash. It is utter trash to peddle this snake oil and these lies. And then they grift on top of it. All the grifting on top, that's just disgusting.
Having been the person that shut down critical thinking because of indoctrination for so many years, I look at Franklin Graham and I don't see him as someone who just was indoctrinated and didn't know better. He is now at the head of the snake, the grifting, the making Trump part of this, being this idol that everybody has to follow him. He is absolutely an embarrassment to everything that MAGA Christians say they believe in, but he is exactly what their actions reveal that they believe in.
Put that back up, Kylie, the Franklin Graham. Here's where you just know he's a fucking liar. I do not believe President Trump would knowingly depict himself as Jesus Christ. Bitch, please. Are you kidding? He could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and his supporters would still support him. And you are one of those people. You would be fine with him committing murder. Of course, he thinks he's Jesus Christ. He says, I alone can fix this.
Right.
That is the demagoguery that you guys worship because you've made this white, capitalist, homicidal version of Jesus and you've thrown away all of the parts that Pope Leo, my new favorite Christian, is talking about. And so put this up. Here is Trump, what he's done in his tit for tat with Pope Leo. No lie, Brian Tyler Cohen has some reporting that Trump has suddenly canceled funding for Catholic charities that support homeless children amid his feud with the Pope. He is a petty party of one. Your table is now available. He doesn't care who he throws under the bus. And it is such bullshit. All of these MAGA Republicans, all of these MAGA Christians, they are the party of child sexual abuse, of child pedophilia in a huge reverse plot. It used to be the Catholics. Now it's the MAGA Christians. And they are for torturing and starving children so that Donald Trump can own the Pope because the Pope is woke. It's just, we live in the dumbest of times and the dumbest of timelines. And I just have to say that I did not have on my bingo card in 2026 that I would be rah-rah sis boom bah Pope and that I would be reporting that the Catholic Church now opposes pedophilia and the MAGA evangelical Christians, Franklin Graham, are defenders and enablers and liars and cover-uppers of child pedophilia. It is quite the plot twist, to say the least.
Well, I mean, Jennifer, they're the party of life. They love children. How could you be so ugly? I mean, they don't give a shit if you throw them under the bus and they starve to death, don't have health care, don't have dental care, don't have child care. They don't give a fuck, these MAGA Christians, as long as they can own the libs and tell everybody what to do in their bedrooms.
All right. And then moving along, this is rather delicious. So Turning Point is making excuses for JD Vance's faceplant, where he was left at the altar by none other than Erica Kirk. And so he shows up to the University of Georgia, huge arena. And as we reported, there were tens of people there. I mean, probably 20 tops. And the tickets were free of charge. And they only got about 20 people to show up. And so Turning Point is now floating conspiracy reasons for why no one showed up. And here is a video of Turning Point response to failed drag queen JD Vance's faceplant at the University of Georgia. Play the clip.
So we had over 2,000 people there, massive energy, great enthusiasm from the attendees. But and this happens, the left-wing groups swarm the ticketing and they try and book up all the tickets and they don't show. And that's one of their forms of protest. Normally, we're pretty good at sniffing it out, but they use some new means and activities. And so we're working with our ticketing systems to adjust for that moving forward. But it was a eventful night.
Yeah. So this is what they do. You know, every accusation is a confession. And so this is the thing that Turning Point is going to have to come to terms with. Charlie Kirk getting shot and murdered is awful. It's horrible. That should not happen in the United States of America. Yet the people who genuinely oppose gun violence are not you. He died advocating for gun violence. Like, his last words were defending what killed him. And then y'all roll out this WWE batshit crazy funeral and you shot your wad. I mean, you misread the thing, and then you're trotting around Eric Kirk, and there is not a normal person on the planet that goes, poor Erica, you know, everybody grieves in their own way. It's weird shit. It is the weirdest shit on the planet. And I want to thank you for doing it, because you are driving young people back to the left. They are abandoning Donald Trump in mass numbers. So keep up the good work. Keep trotting out JD Vance. I want everybody, every Republican on the ticket in the midterms, campaign with JD Vance. I think we should push this motherfucker out front and center on everything, because all he does is lose.
Well, you know what's interesting about the whole Turning Point USA thing? An organization that is notoriously misogynistic and sexist rolls out a woman, and nobody can figure out why their numbers are dying. It's like the people that you've cultivated don't want to see a woman in power. I mean, it's staggering to me, all these people surrounding. Plus, the grift. I mean, the grift has, from what I'm reading, the grift has really dropped. And I just want to say, if you think that Democrats are rolling around trying to book free tickets to Erica Kirk's Turning Point USA, you just have nothing better to do than sit around and be stupid.
Listen, in a pinch, I would do it. I really would. I would do it. I would have the best.
I would go protest.
I would say, okay, everybody, here's what we're going to do. Everybody get their laptops. Let's everybody reserve like 25 tickets. Let's own the fascists. Let's drink fascist tears tonight. I would never think to do that. But now that he's brought it to my attention, I'm like, I'm in. That sounds like fun. I like to fuck with Republicans. Okay, moving along. Fox News is really struggling with how to cover this, you know, because they are state-sponsored propaganda TV. And so here's a video of the real JD Vance faceplant crowd size that was an alleged Democratic ambush. So you see all this, it's like tens of people there. It is empty, 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 empty. And this is why I believe Erica Kirk didn't show up. She used that it was a security issue, not buying it. If the sitting vice president of the United States is in there, sorry, the Secret Service's security protocol is going to supersede that of the people who thought it was a great idea to have a funeral with fireworks. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there. So Fox News is running cover for JD Vance, as they have to do, and they're playing footage of crowds from a different event to make JD Vance's crowd look bigger than what it was. That's how bad it is for MAGA Republicans right now. Play the clip.
That happened with Charlie, obviously, his assassination. We're still, grieving that. And you saw what happened with Savannah Hernandez, one of our TPUSA Frontlines reporters in Minneapolis. And to see the security team, tell us, we cannot guarantee your safety. We recommend that you don't do this.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not buying the security team said that. What I'm thinking is Erica Kirk saw the parking lot.
Yeah.
And she was like, fuck no, I'm leaving that motherfucker at the altar. He just went and fucked us in Hungary, which we now know Hungarian taxpayers have been footing the bill for all of this CPAC shit. And she sees that the ship is sinking. How low do you have to be to get stood up by Erica Kirk?
It's got to hurt your manhood, I would think. I mean, that is like being dumped by the ugliest guy in school,
Not to mention, Pumps, my favorite Christian, Pope Leo. I think he's just trolling the shit out of JD Vance right at the time of JD Vance's I Found My Way to Be a Catholic book launch. This shit is so delicious. I think I'm going to buy a popcorn machine here for the studio.
Well, here's the thing. JD Vance is so fake. I mean, we've talked about the Methodist Church, whatever, but he's trying to lecture the Pope on morality. It's like, dude, shut up. Sometimes it's just better if you shut up. And then him going out on the Turning Point stage. Thank you for being here. It's like, bitch, there's only like 100 people. Stop.
I think 100 is generous, Pumps. I would push back on the 100. I think, yeah. I think I think we have probably crew down there trying to fill in. I'm surprised that JD Vance continued with it, but I have this theory that the Trump regime is rat fucking him as every single chance they can get, that they are sending him on the faceplant tour right now. And I think in a week or two, he's going to do it to Lil Marco. I think that's just a petty
it's Marco's time's coming.